Hey guys, happy Thursday. Byrdie here with Redbyrd Designs, and I am going live to show you how to put together one of the tiered trays, or I should say not show you how, but an idea on how to finish one of the tiered trays from the new products that launched this morning on our website. So make sure to go to redbyrddesigns.com and check out the new products. We've also got an updated homepage. So we have all of the latest products just directly on the homepage, which is nice. And yeah, so go check that out. I am working on the Love tiered tray set. So I was live last night. Oh, let me turn my volume down. I was live last night showing you a quick reverse canvas tutorial craft, and I showed you the tiered tray. Let me pull that out. So this is how we painted it for product pictures and whatnot. So I'm going to show you that real quick. I'll just lay the pieces right on top. So let's see, we've got that. We did a color scheme of a tan, pink, white, and what did I say? Tan, pink, white, and black. Hello, hello. As you hop on, let me know. Say hi in the comments. And as always, a small business, I so appreciate you guys. If you share the video, give me some thumbs up and hearts. Always is so helpful when we're trying to reach others. Hi, Cara. How are you? So yeah, this is what we're going to do today. We painted this set, but I'm going to show you a different way to decorate or finish these pieces using paper. And you can do it however you want. That's what makes these little kits so great, is you can really just have fun and customize them with the colors or paper or painting techniques that you love. So, like I said, I'm going to use some paper on some of these bits, and I'm also going to use some paint. So, thanks, Darla. I really love those colors too. They just go together so well in that painted set. So I have this paper pad. I'm not even sure where I picked. Oh, Recollection. So this is from Michael's. Just some soft pinks in here. And so I'm going to pull some paper out. I'm going to use kind of the same color scheme as I did with my sign last night, just to give myself a set that kind of works together. So I've got this really soft pink, and I'm not sure if you can see the polka dots on it. I'll use that one. And then there's also one, this might be, I might try and find something else here. This one is a darker pink, a lighter pink, and some teal, but they're kind of similar in pattern, so I might try and find something else here. And we've got a darker pink. I'll pull that out. Let's see, maybe I'll find some. I want a little bit of teal in this this different set. This is really pretty. It's a black and white stripe with gold specks, so kind of tying in with that tan color. It's funny because I used to scrapbook in the past, and so I've had a collection of paper, and I don't scrapbook in the technical term anymore, but I still collect paper. So anytime I am out of town shopping, if there's a sale going on paper, I am all over it. And I never have a reason for it. I just buy what I like and go from there. Ooh, that would be kind of pretty. I might do that. So, kind of a paper hoarder. I shouldn't even say paper. It's really all crafts. Anything catches my eye and I think it's pretty, I buy it. So if you're like me, give me some thumbs up if you like to just buy pretty things without a purpose in mind at the time. Okay, I think I've got what I need. I'm just going to go through one last time. The other thing to think about if you're using paper, especially on these smaller pieces, is the size of the pattern. You know, a lot of these tiered trays are tiny and they've got tiny surfaces. So if you choose something with a big pattern, most likely you're not going to catch, you know, certain parts of that pattern that you might want. Ooh, that's pretty with the arrows. Okay. We better get it straight though then. Look at that one with the hearts. Isn't that pretty? It's got kind of a gold look to it. And that is almost the same size as my hearts on the banner. So that we could maybe tie into it. I should have went through the paper better before the video, but it's always fun just to browse paper. Yes, Darla, buy it while you have the chance. Absolutely. You never know. That is, I think, a small town mentality where we're not able to just hop on down the road to the nearest Hobby Lobby or Walmart or Target or Michael's or anything like that. All right. I think we're good. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining. We are making a tiered tray kit today. So, say hi when you hop on. I'd love to say hi back. All right, so let's just kind of think about, I'm not going to put any pattern on this one. It is way too busy as it is, so I'm just going to do paint on this guy. This one, with this tiered tray, not all of our tiered trays come with this, but this one has some really great scored letter. So this says, I love you in different languages. So I don't want to cover that up with paper, so I won't paper this. I might paper this little heart on top. This one, I'm not going to paper the frame, and obviously not the letters. Those will get painted, but we can put paper on the back, and I think that would really look really pretty on the back side of that. So because the letters are kind of small, I also want to think about using a pattern that's not too busy or full of color. So let's just take a look here. I think, you know, this ombre would be really pretty back there. And maybe not so much blue. Maybe we just do pinks, but that one would be pretty. What other one do I have? Just doing a solid pink, or the soft pink polka dots would go okay as well. So we'll have to decide on that. Let me know. Hello, Beverly Brown 4, I believe. Welcome. So let me know what you think. What would be your favorite of those three? And then while you guys are typing that in, I'll talk about the next piece here. I know there's a little bit of lag between the comments coming through. All right, and then for the love, the letters on the front here that are layered on are too small to paper. You could do it, it would just take quite a while. So I'm just gonna paint the words love. And then again, this little heart has that I love you font that's scored in. So I don't wanna cover that up, but we can paper this back piece, which I think again, like the sign would really be pretty. So now we have to decide on that. I think let's do, what about a black and white stripe? I think I'm gonna just pass that on. And let's do this small confetti paper on the love sign. So we'll commit to that. And so let me know what you guys think we should do for the little sign here on the back. Do we do the ombre? Do we do the dark pink or the light pink polka dot? The fun thing about doing or creating these with scrapbook paper, if you pull the paper all from the same book, most likely it's all gonna match and look great together. So, all right, and then for these little hearts, the banners, I think I'll do whatever we decide here on the banners as well, and then just kind of have that same look kind of go through the entire thing. Cara likes all three. I know it's kind of a hard choice. That's the hard part about crafty. It's making a choice. Sometimes you just have to close your eyes and point at it and commit, right? Soft pink background with bold words. Yes, I think I like that. It's hard to choose. I like them all. Okay. So let's just, maybe we'll think about that. We'll put that one aside. We don't have to quite decide right this second, and we will get started painting. All right. Hello, hello, welcome. I have my soft pink out. I also pulled a gray out, but I'm not sure if I'll use that. I have my teal, and I'm gonna need my brown, which I thought I grabbed. There it is. All right, so I'm gonna paint the, we'll just get started here. I'm gonna paint the background of this, the brown. What do we got under here? All of these guys. And I think I'm going to just paint all the bits that have the engraving this light brown. And I want to make sure that I don't override the score marks. So I'm going to water down my paint and make it look more like a wash or a stain. So I've got a little paint on my palette here, and then I'm going to grab a little water bottle and spritz it and give it, water it down. And then once I've got my paint on, I'm going to take it one step further and grab a baby wipe and wipe most of it away. It just gives it a really soft finish. We still see some of that wood grain poking through, which I love. And obviously we can still see all of those score marks. So this is a fun way to paint your pieces. If you love the look of the wood grain and want to keep that, it's kind of a faux stain method. Just make sure if you do it this way to not let it dry if you want to wipe it away. Because acrylics dry super fast and it will just, you won't be able to wipe it away once it's dry. Okay. So thanks for joining. I see a few new people on. Are you guys on a lunch break or off for the day? And I'm not worrying about the inside of the heart, remember, because this heart will glue right on top of there. Okay. And then the last little piece there. So I painted with the brown all of the bits that have the scored marks in them. I think I'm gonna do I think I will, we might as well just do the frame of this guy as well, and then we'll also do the, I think that's it then. This is just such a pretty color. I wanted to paint it all, but I also don't want it to be exactly like our original, just to show you how it can look a little bit different. So I better remember not to do the same thing twice here. Try and mix it up a little bit. Okay, there's that. And then we can start painting our letters. I'm going to do those in black so that they really stand out. And another quick tip when you're putting together your tiered tray kits, with all of these tiny words and letters, it can get to be a nightmare to paint them. So using masking tape to hold down your pieces is a huge time saver / lifesaver. Because otherwise you're holding these little baby pieces and trying to dab paint on them, and it just ends up being a huge mess. So invest in a roll of masking tape. You could also use washi tape, that would work. Or possibly Scotch tape. I've seen some people use duct tape, but I've never had any good luck with duct tape. Simply because it's so strong that I found it tears out some of the wood on the back. So I try and stick with just a low tack tape to do this method so I don't ruin my little letters. Okay, also the other thing that you want to think about when you're putting your kit together is, and I should have said this at the beginning, but laying out all your pieces to make sure that they are right reading and you've got all of your words the right way, your L's and your A's and things like that, so that you don't accidentally paint the wrong side. All right, so then we will also do the L and the V and the E on the banner part or the sign. I'm gonna plug my phone in real quick here. I've got a low battery warning, of course. So hopefully that saves my video. Darla says she doesn't have any wall shelves. Need to add shelves to my decor. Yeah, they're kind of fun to decorate. Like this is a tiered tray set in the sense that it's kind of designed for putting in, you know, the tiered tray and adding all the little bits and greenery and candy and cups and vases and things like that. But I found that these little bits also just work on your everyday shelf display. So I have a couple bookcases even where I might put this little love and tuck it in front of a book, and then I might put this one on a different shelf and lean it against a vase, and then it kind of just brings this whole bookshelf into more of a festive mood without getting too overwhelmed by moving all of my already decor that's there. So these are just really easy pieces that you can kind of stick in wherever as well. Okay, so let's get some black out. And I am going to use a makeup sponge. So if you're doing tiered tray kits, I would say there are a few things that you need. The masking tape to hold your little pieces. Baby wipes are really handy for creating fun finishes. They also can be used as like a paintbrush. So you just dip it in the paint and paint it on, which can be helpful like on pieces like the frame. And then you also want some makeup sponges or makeup triangles like this. You can pick these up really anywhere. And I always cut mine in half and make them just go a little bit further. And then also, if you want to even take it one step further, I don't like to wash these. They're really hard to wash. So I used this one last night. It has some white paint on it. And I just let it dry there. And then I can come in the next day or the next time I craft, clip off that hard bit, and now I've got a brand new makeup sponge essentially to do the next project with. So out of one makeup sponge, if you cut them in half and then just keep cutting the crusty bits off, you can get 5 to 6 projects out of one makeup sponge, and so they last a long time, but definitely something to consider when you're painting these little bits. And then you'll also need, you know, any paper that you want to put on it. You're going to need glue. I use a type of super glue, but any sort of either a wood glue, even Elmer's glue. I can't remember what the purple tacky glue is called. Is it Anita's tacky glue? It's kind of in the brown bottle maybe with purple letters. If anyone can think of it, let me know. You just want something that's semi-fast drying and will dry clear. especially with these little pieces here. You don't want to have a big glob of yellow glue on the side of your sign. So I'm just dabbing the makeup sponge in my paint, and then I just dab off. So I'm loading it up, and let me just load it up really a lot. So this is what it would look like if, I'm not sure if you can see that, if it's gonna zoom in or focus, but there's a huge mound of paint there, and we don't want it to, have that much paint on there, because what will happen is the paint will then start to get squished out on the sides of your letters, and it's going to make your letters look bad and take forever to dry, and it's just kind of messy. So the technique that you want to use is you want to load it up and then take it into another area on your paper plate or tray or pad, whatever you're using, and offload it, and just keep tapping it for a while. And what happens is that makeup sponge is going to start to soak in that paint, and we're left with just a nice clear flat surface that's just got a little bit of paint, but typically quite a bit to cover your letters. And then it's just going to give you a clean, nice finish on these little bits. And then I just dab with an I would say a medium pressure or to light pressure. You don't need to press too hard. And it's just a really quick and fun way to paint these smaller pieces. And you can see how this tape is working really well. And I do have to hold down my pieces a little bit, but other than that, they're not going anywhere. I'm not having to pick them up and try and carefully hold them between my fingers to get the surfaces painted. So if you're interested in this kit, it is available today on our website at redbyrddesigns.com. You can hit the shop button or just scroll down, and all of the latest kits that were published today are available right on our front page, and this and a few others as well. 12 new kits, I should say. I think 12 new kits were published today. Okay, so I'm going to slide those away. We are done with that part, and I'm going to come in and put my paper on the back of this. And what did I have over here? I think I'm going to go with a dark, no, I'll go with this light pink. We'll just commit to the light pink. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to line one of my edges to the bottom here, and then I'll hold it down, and I'm going to take a pencil and just trace the shape. And so this will work, this method works for any of them, not just these square shapes. So hello, welcome. Seeing just a few people pop in. Say hi, let me know what you're doing today. We are making a Valentine's tiered tray using paint and paper. All right. So I also want to make sure that it's just a touch smaller than my square or my rectangle here. The frame is going to be covering up all the edges, and I don't want to have to worry about it sticking out, and then I'll have to sand it off and try and cut that out later. So I want to make it just a smidge smaller than this rectangle. All right, I have Mod Podge in here, and I'm just going to add some of this to my wood. And of course it's clogged because that's what I get for not having a lid on it. Okay, let me find another bottle here. All right. And then I'm going to take a brush. If I can find my sponge brush. I love my sponge brushes for this process. And did I use it last night? Oh, well. I don't like using my good brushes to spread the Mod Podge because they always seem to not come out very clean, no matter how much I try. And then I have hard, stiff bristles. This brush I got at the Dollar Tree, though. I think you can get a pack of like 6 of these, and they're literally just throwaway. The bristles all come out, but they're great for gluing. Okay, we got our glue down, and we're going to grab our paper and lay it on our rectangle here. And then smooth it out. Nice and smooth out. So then I'm going to grab an old gift card I have here and take it and squeegee out any bubbles and also excess glue. It's going to give me a nice smooth finish. So using paper is just such a great, it's fun, and it's also a great way to get some really fun patterned finishes on your pieces if you are not wanting to, you know, paint them on. Okay, there we go. And then this will sit on here. And then we will put our letters on in just a little bit. So let's do this one next. And maybe we do this ombre on this one. I'm going to start, I wish it didn't have this purple in it. Maybe I'll do the stripes. This one will be fun. I can't decide, you guys. Going back and forth. All right, we're committing this one. All right, so again, I'm going to lay my piece out, grab a pencil, and trace all the way around. And then just take a second and cut out my piece here. So have you heard the term fussy cut? I think it's a scrapbooking term, where you're cutting out small little detailed items. You'll typically hear somebody say, it's time to fussy cut. I think that's it. I could be mistaken. If I remember right. And you typically have small scissors for the fussy cutting. Super sharp, kind of small to get all the detail. All right, I did cut this one a little short, again, because I don't want it to be sticking off the edge. And I'm going to show you a technique to help clean this up. Now, if you do cut it long, you can use a nail file or a sanding block or sanding paper and just sand the edges off. But I'm going to show you just a different way to do it here. Okay, see if I got it all. All right, put some glue down. The bad thing on this one is I'm covering up my letters, so I won't know where to place them, but it's a small enough sign that I think we'll be able to figure it out. I'm going to take our gift card here, smooth everything out, and then we'll let that dry. And then we've just got these other little heart banner pieces that we will put some paper on. And I will do the dark pink for this one. So we'll trace one. Now these have little holes in the top for the banner to be strung, but you'll be able to just pierce right through this paper and string whatever jute, string, yarn that you want on half of the back. So don't worry about trying to, if you're using a paper method to decorate these, to cut out that tiny little hole right away. So I am live on TikTok, and I've discovered, for those that are watching there, that I'm not able to see comments after my live, which I didn't realize that was the case. I've only gone live on TikTok a handful of times, so that's kind of a bummer. I thought that, I know that they save your video for X amount of days afterwards, but I assumed I would be able to go back and watch it and catch up on comments and reply to people, but that's not the case. I think I have to maybe turn a feature on. So if you're on TikTok watching, let me know in the comments if you have a clue on that part. These little small pieces don't need much. So I'm not needing to squeegee out any excess glue or bubbles. They're kind of just doing what they should. Okay, there we go. All right, let's paint the hearts and the world, and then we'll be ready to start gluing everything together. So I'm gonna just do the world frame, and I've done the letters in black. I'm gonna do the frame in black as well. So did anyone get any crafting tools for Christmas? Crafting supplies, fun crafting stuff? I'm going to use the black makeup sponge for this outer frame of the world sign here. Cara, you got something crafty for Christmas? What did you get? You got a yarn winder and a lighted crochet hooks that glow in the dark. I've seen those. My daughter had one, I think. One or two, because she loves crocheting as well. Well, I can't remember what her take on it was. All right, I'm going to put a light pink on my back piece here. I'm just going to go right onto my surface with this. And I'll just spread this around. I saw on a feed, Cara, a crochet hook from another maker I follow, and she had gotten a maybe she got it or maybe somebody got it for her, I can't remember. Anyways, it was a needle a crochet needle that or hook that counted the stitches. Is that even possible? I was a little bit curious about that. Have you seen that? Maybe it was knitting. No, I don't think it was. Okay. All right, so we'll let that dry. And let's just do a light pink on, or was I going to do a pattern on this? Let's do a pattern on this. With the little tiered tray kits, this would definitely be a, oh, wrong bottle, a project that you could, if you wanted to use paper, get away with just grabbing the smaller paint pack or paper packs. So I know that a lot of times they'll have a big 12 by 12 paper pack and then also carry a small, I think it's 6 by 6, sometimes 8 by 8. I think it just kind of depends on the brand. But if you're short on space and don't want to have a ton of huge paper around for the small projects you do, you'll have to check those out. Okay, so that is going to look really cute with those polka dots. I love those polka dots. All right, let's see if I can see any comments here. All right. Let's paint the little hearts a teal color, just to bring that color in to play a little bit with the rest, since we've got our little sprinkles here have some teal in them. And I also did the bubblegum machine the other day. If you missed that, head over to our video section on Facebook. It's also, there's a time lapse in TikTok of the bubblegum machine shaker, which was super fun to put together. But that had the teal color on it, and so this kind of ties into that. So that will go good together. All right, I think we're ready to glue. We'll start with this since this has been sitting the longest, and we'll just work our way around. The other thing to have when you're creating pieces like this is clamps or something heavy to help you hold your pieces, especially if you're not using a super glue that's super fast drying. That can really help kind of speed the process along, so you can have something sit while you glue the next piece. So I picked these little clamps up at the dollar store, and they come in a pack of 6, I believe, but super helpful little guys. So if you're ever there, pick those up. And they also have some bigger ones too that are nice. Okay, so remember I had cut this a little short, and I can still see some of the wood kind of peeking through there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black, no, I'm going to go with brown. I'm going to take a clean baby wipe, and I'm going to go into this brown that I have here. I'm going to try and get most of it off. I just want a very tiny bit of brown on the tip of my baby, or not baby wipe, makeup sponge, excuse me. And I'm gonna just take it and come around and pretty much just distress my edges here. And I'm not seeing much of a difference, so we're gonna switch to the black. So we can really see, it's gonna give it a bit of an outline. And I'm just taking it and pulling it off those edges there. I'm gonna go all the way around. And I don't know if you can see, but see how it's giving it just a soft black outline to this pattern paper, which is really going to help it pop as well. There we go. All right, so then I'm going to take and grab my L, my V, and my E here, and my heart sits here, and we'll glue those down. And because I've covered up my score marks, I don't know where those are going, but I think it's going to turn out okay in the end. As long as they're somewhat centered in this bubble block, you'll be all right. It's just a fun way to add some cool patterns to this background sign. What do you guys think? Is that fun? It's a little confetti. All right, that one is done. So let's move on to this guy. Oh, I forgot to paint this little washer. So the little washer just sits here, just adds a fun little dimension to the tag. So we'll just paint this black real quick since I've got the black out. And then I can glue it down. There we go. Gives that a nice outline. And then for this heart, I'm going to take some of that brown and do the same thing. Because this is a lighter color, this brown is just going to really give this heart some dimension and outline and really help it stand up off that tab. Okay, there we go. And then we'll glue this guy down. And this should be done. So I'm going to switch out my clamps here. Clamp this frame down. Let that sit, and then we can come back and put the letters and words on this sign here. I'm going to start with this You know what would be a cool tool to have? I've seen hand letters use them, but they have that laser uh, um, ruler, and they put it down and that line goes across the laser line. That would be something pretty handy to have, I think, making a bunch of these little signs. All right, so we've got my love. And just as you're pulling your pieces of your letters, your words off the masking tape, just go slow, take your time. If you try and rush it, you'll probably end up breaking a letter. I broke my little Y here, but it's going to be all right. It's just cracked. It'll glue up just fine, but just take your time on that. There we go. All right, so then the rest go to the other one. And so we'll slowly just get a little dab of glue. Now for these small pieces like this, I have a really small tipped glue gun, but if you didn't have something like this to just drop tiny little bits in, I would suggest grabbing like a paper plate or some sort of, even a piece of wax paper or something that you could put a bunch of glue down, so you have like a pool of glue there, and then you could dip your pieces in essentially and do it that way. Let's see, I'm gonna have to kind of get up over this to make sure it's straight. There we go. But that would be another way to get glue on those little bits if you didn't have a fine-tipped glue dispenser. You could also just paint the glue on the back. Make sure that's straight-ish. There we go. I'm really just putting a couple dots here and there. I'm not even covering the entire back of these little guys. They don't need much to be held in place, so. And they're little decorative pieces that aren't going to be played with, so we don't have to get crazy with the glue. Thanks, Cara. All right, so there's this piece. And you can see that pretty pattern on the background just really makes this piece pop. So there's that one. We'll do our banner next. So the banner is going to sit like this. And then the little hearts will sit on top of those pattern pieces. So we'll just start gluing those down. And there's that. and ready to be strung. That one's done. I'd probably put a pretty little piece of ribbon coming off of this, or jute, whatever, however you're decorating it works. But this is really cute, these little tags for hanging on vases or candlestick. They look really great there too. All right, our last piece. And we'll start gluing these guys on. This one has the letters engraved or scored on the back, so it makes it super easy for placement. And most of our pieces do have that sort of placement tool. Some items don't. You'll notice some tags, if you purchase from us, don't have the score marks for the words on the back, simply because we want to give you guys the flexibility to maybe move the elements around. So for instance, we're developing or starting to create another tiered tray set, and the tag is completely blank, but we've designed it to have some letters on it. We didn't create the score marks on that in case you wanted to move some of those around and rearrange that. So that's also nice, not to have to be forced to add those pieces in where you don't want them. And then sometimes it's just nice to have those placement parts. I thought I broke it again. Okay, there we go. There is our tiered tray set using a paper method to finish those off. So this is super pretty with that pink background as well. So this is how we painted it to start with for our product pictures, and here's another option. And if you had some really soft paper, you could paper the background as well if it had a really soft pattern. I think that would look great. And then here is the painted version of the love sign, and then the paper version. So you can kind of see the difference there. Very similar, but the paper version just offers some more pattern to it. And then let's see what else we got. So then the tag didn't change much, but here is the painted versus the paper. And then the my love sign, just using these really neutral colors makes it super soft and really helps those letters pop. But you can also add some paper behind, again, for some more texture and pattern there. So those are those two. And then the last bit of it is the banner. This is the painted version, just using pink and that tan color, and then having some paper behind here. Again, just however you want to decorate it. Both sets are equally lovely. I love them both. They're both super pretty. I don't know if I could even pick a favorite, but I wanted to show you guys how you could incorporate paper to get some cool patterns on your pieces. So there we go. That's what I have for you guys today. If you're interested in this kit and others, don't forget to head over to redbyrddesigns.com. We had 12 new kits dropped today in the shop, so those are available now for you. And they are, there's a handful of non-holiday ones. So there's a home sign, there's a family tiered tray, and a home banner, and then the rest of them are Valentine's kits. So perfect time to order your Valentine's kit so you have time to craft them and then display them come February. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I will chat with you later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for the shares, the thumbs up, the hearts. You guys are great, and we'll chat with you later. Bye.